I always do this at the beginning of every panel. It also gives me time to organize my thoughts. I would like each member of the panel, obviously we've got a lot of people, but every superhero, like you, Adam, has an origin story. So I want 1 minute, no more, 1 minute, okay, about you, digital assets, blockchain, crypto, what you're involved, who are you, where are you from, and what are you up to in this area? Boss.
All right, hello, is this one working? Hello, yeah, it's working. All right. Bruce Porter Jr., I'm an early Bitcoin investor. Started a blockchain as well back in 2013. Biggest business right now is capital raise for different projects. We have turned our initial Global Boost company really into like a media organization, and we're growing that a lot. And, being part and parcel of this monetary revolution that we have going on has been one of the most transformative things besides buying Bitcoin at $70 that's happened in my life.
Did you save the Bitcoin that you bought at $70?
Back in the old days, man, no one would ever talk about, you always talk about Bitcoin, but you never talk about your Bitcoin. Otherwise, you end up like the guy in New York.
So you're not answering the question.
Exactly.
The question, did you get a pizza?
No.
Okay, good.
Hi everyone. My name is Vin Menon. I'm born in India, grew up in Singapore, now living between Dubai and New York. So my background is I'm a techie. I started working with corporates like HP, Compaq, IBM, the good old days. I'm still 21. And left the corporate world, started a business in 2005, exited to one of the Japanese company in 2015. And then since then, I'm into blockchain. Bought the Bitcoin in 2011 at $36, the first one. But now, blockchain as a business, we created an institutional grade blockchain, which is fully reinsured by Lloyd's Market. And we are the only one for the last 8 years carrying that, that label of fully reinsured by Lloyd's Market.
Fantastic. Adam.
Okay, my name is Adam Reiser, founder of Verity One. I've been in the blockchain business just forever. I've been in the track and trace business for 27 years, so it's a natural progression. My kids started mining Bitcoin on their games on all my computers, so like, what is this Bitcoin? And I started using Ethereum, and we're in Ethereum at $2. That's where we are, so.
Are you like him? You won't talk about whether you still have it?
I lost it in a boating accident.
You did?
All my.
I think I'm going to.
Okay, yeah,
cool.
A boating accident.
Fantastic. A lot of those boating accidents. I'm trying to match.
I'm not there.
Okay, you are Jehovah. Who are you?
Gergely. Nice to meet you. My name is Gergely Fabian. Hi, everyone. I used to be a central banker, 13 years. That's where I met blockchain. Used to think about it, how to use a digital currency, like a central bank digital currency, or generally the infrastructure, how to use in the financial sector. And then I ended up as a state secretary in Hungary for technology and industry. Again, for the technology part, I tried to make impact on the blockchain part. Then I fell in love with a small company. I was flirting with 6 months with the company. It's called Galaxis. It's a Swiss-based company. Yes. And I joined as a CEO to build something, not just talk about it.
Cool. Build something, not just talk about it. That's very revolutionary. Okay, Anthony.
No, it wasn't a critique for gentlemen. I mean, it was.
Anthony, if I know what DAG means, do you give me a Bitcoin?
What's that, Gordon?
If I know what DAG means, will you give me a Bitcoin?
A lot less than a Bitcoin.
Directed acyclic graph.
Yeah, you got it right. Well done.
Thank you.
There's lots of them on the tables, these gold things.
Yeah.
I'm Anthony Turner, CEO of BlockDAG. You'll hear a bit more about it tomorrow. But just briefly about myself, I got into crypto quite late relative to everyone else. I thought, let's set up an index fund in Switzerland. We're going to go 50 wide. These are the days where you could only custody the top 10 or 20 coins. So we sat trying to do a 50 coin index fund, battled like crazy, and then learned the hard way, don't launch a fund once the market's gone over the top and is going into the crypto winter. So that's where I learned the hard way. Thanks, everyone.
Say that life lesson one more time, because I'm not sure everyone heard that.
Don't launch a fund or probably a project in the middle of crypto winter. Is
Okay.
that the life lesson?
Fantastic. Sunny.
Hey. Oh,
Hey,
okay.
what's
Yeah.
up?
Hey.
How's it going?
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Sunny Oller. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Metaspace Lab. I joined a blockchain related maybe 7+ years ago. But our startup is launched maybe between 2023. So it's been a few years. And prior to I started my startup, I was in asset management company called T. Rowe Price. With the shiphead icon, if anyone knows. It's big in the US, it's maybe slowly small in the global
Who's ever
aspect
phone
too.
is ringing, either pick it up and say, Mom, I'll call you back later, or turn it off. Okay.
So yes, I was in the multi-asset space about 6 years, and so all about the portfolio management and whatnot. So now tokenization with that, I see everything in that aspect and how asset management and institutional money is coming in. So yes.
I'm going to go take, oh, okay. I'll let her off the hook because I know who it is. Go ahead.
Todd Brockman, founder and CEO of Noveltech. My focus is on intellectual property and patents. I've been in the patent business for about 25 years. And so what I'm attempting to do, I've launched a token. We hit 58 million market cap. It's doing very well. I'm allowing people to participate in monetizing IP. That's my focus. I've been in the patent business for 25 years. I've licensed my technology to companies like Facebook, Polycom, very large companies, so I understand the space intimately. And if anyone wants to come on the journey, I'd love to have you join us.
Amazing. Now, we are at a family office investment summit, a global one, no less. So let's kind of, get real brass tacks and specific, because they need to decide where to put their investment dollars, or what questions to talk about with their advisors, or do they need to be able to see out in the future. So I'm going to be my methodical self. Start with you. I know you have kind of a political point of view. We talk about this a lot, but I wanted you to approach this from maybe a regulatory, market adoption, investment point of view. Where are we now, but where are we in 10 years? I know 2035 is going to be like a whole other universe with AI and everything else, but give us your take.
Well, to break it down a little bit, we flew in from Seoul a couple days ago, and I gave a keynote. It was a tech conference, and I talked about the monetary revolution and how we've been able to take a lot of power back from the central banks, and we're going to see a lot more of that over the next 10 years. This democratization of lending, of these different DeFi protocols, and that's really that's what it was about for me, really, the whole time. It was about taking the power back.
You use past tense, though. That's what it was about for you?
It is.
Okay.
That's what it is about. It's about taking the power back. And, when you have something like this that's new to the world, and, the central bank just can't mint as much as they want, that's why it's so powerful, and that's why it's so valuable. And that's why even, as I pass it off to my good friend here, Dr. Vin Menon, what he's doing with setting up these strategic reserves, which is the strategic digital asset reserves, which is what Michael Saylor has been doing. That's why they're all doing it. That's why these companies are doing it, these publicly traded companies. And so we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more power given back to the people, and that's a good thing.
Okay, now, but I'm going to stay with you for a minute. So, again, from an investment perspective, you're sort of talking about the anti-inflationary nature of crypto, especially Bitcoin. Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of countries, U.S., China, to a certain extent, are based on debt and growing debt. If you take away that lifeline, what happens?
Well, hopefully we close the central bank.
Okay. So what's your feeling about central bank digital currencies? You love them?
Well, look, I don't think there's anything wrong with the central bank per se using a digital currency. I think part of the thing about blockchain, one of the things that made it so attractive to everybody, is that it's transparent and you can see what's going on. And a central bank digital currency, in theory, is not going to do that. So I think it's fine. But as far as being good for the society or something like that, I wouldn't really support it.
Okay, and is a rapid transition to sort of deflationary and non-inflationary tools of crypto advisable, or should it be kind of like a,
One thing I would say, on the topic is that you have to be careful, because a lot of the tokens, like Solana, for instance, they can mint as many tokens as they want. So you do have to be careful. When you're, it's not just any crypto, right? That's why they're really hoarding Bitcoin right now. But that's gonna go away. We're gonna see an alt season, of course. Right now, it's been very Bitcoin centric, but that's because there's only so many Bitcoins, right? So
far.
yes.
Quantum.
Well,
Okay,
it's-
yeah, we'll go to Vin.
Yes,
Vin.
boss.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll reframe the question. So again, it's an investment
Yes, please.
conference.
Yes.
Family Office Investment Conference. So I wanted you to give us a 10-year roadmap of how they should approach this, given your unique perspective.
Yeah, so when we entered into blockchain as a business, somewhere around 2015-16, what we are seeing is it was sort of quote-unquote cowboy market. There was no regulation, no institutions for to come into the picture. And we were trying to see how we can converge between a institution product to a retail product, and how much we can close the gap. But right now, fast forward 2025, January 21st, it became like a mainstream now. Especially at least the top 10 currencies, top 10 crypto became like, whether it is classified under CFTC commodities or legal tenders, it is like a mainstream product. And I'm sure that over the next 4 years, it's going to be rolling up so fast that most probably we are going to see all the mainstream products and financial instruments are creating out of these crypto wraps.
Okay, now there's creating products on the blockchain or real-world asset
Yeah,
tokenization,
it's already,
and
yeah.
then there's pure crypto, in quotes, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all this other stuff. So from their actual world, is it that they're looking for securities or other commodities or assets on the blockchain, or are they shifting traditional cryptos? I can't believe I'm using that expression, or is it some blend?
Right. So if you look at 2000 .com era, what happened was there were a lot of coins.
I wasn't born then.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, not numbers four.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So during that time, what happened was, there were mushrooms of companies, .coms were creating, and we got into a stage where most of the companies lost 80-90% value, and suddenly Googles of the world, Yahoos of the world came up. So that's a kind of a cycle which happened for .com, and in the crypto and blockchain space, it is going to come. And it's ongoing probably because of the last 2 winters. And we'll be able to see something like a real world assets and real businesses forming out from the blockchain and crypto. And that's what going to be the next 10 years of time.
Okay, so you're positing not just assets on blockchain, not just traditional crypto, but true blockchain-based companies.
Yes. The real businesses behind the product, which generates profit, which create jobs, blah, 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 whatever the mainstream companies can do, that could be done by a crypto or a blockchain business.
That'd be very refreshing. Okay, Adam, now I've known you, I think, a solid decade at this point, if not longer. I think I met Rotosa through you.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly correct. Oh, yeah, correct. Yeah, remember?
Scary.
Yeah, so
Okay, it's scary the impact you've had on my life. Okay, anyway, so no, okay. So
I'm a Web 1, Web 2 guy. Okay, I had an
Yes.
amazing exit during the .coms.
So let me spin it a little bit differently for you. So you're an old, I don't want to say old time. You're an
OG
gangster.
Yeah,
an OG.
I'm a Web
2
1,
entrepreneur.
Web 1, Web 2 OG. Okay.
So from their investment perspective, from their analysis, Web 2 made a lot of money for a lot of people. Of course, as Vin was pointing out, it lost a lot of money for a lot of people.
But
How
it
do they-
changed the world, though. I mean, the biggest thing I see from Web 2 and Web 3 is because we're in a dial-up exit right now of Web 3. So you guys are
Hey
probably
guys,
a
if you're
lot of-
talking in the audience,
Okay.
can you ask them to
Think about this, guys. You probably don't remember,
Thanks.
but dial-up access, that's where we are right now in Web 3. This blockchain, all that stuff. We haven't seen anything yet. We have people here that...
hold on a second, guys. Can you tap them on the shoulder, please? Guys, we can hear you speaking if you don't mind. Thank you.
Thanks, Gordon. So we're just starting. I had an amazing exit. I mean, I remember when we first TCP/IP, we had green screens. Then I remember when the browser first came out, and then all that kind of stuff. And then I said, okay, how do we go over and do this? And I started aggregating stuff, and I was a domainer. I said, how do we run? I bought domains. I bought 80,000 domains, and it just kept going and it was like amazing. And now we're in that spot. I mean, we have amazing people here for Bitcoin, and I think that the sky's the limit. We are just starting as far as an investment. Be careful with the dot, whatever they're called. I mean, those
Meme coins?
meme coins and stuff like
Like
that.
from your friend Trump?
Well, it's whoever you want to call them, but it's just they have a purpose. Meme
I call
coins-
him your friend Trump.
Oh, yeah, my friend.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Yeah. He's
friend.
yeah, my friend. Yeah. Okay. We won't even go there. Okay. He's doing a pretty good job sometimes.
Okay, go on.
But anyway, we'll go.
We'll talk about it in another 12 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
CIA,
The-
okay.
the last
I
12 are
love
pretty
them,
interesting. Okay, come on.
But what I think is an investment, if you look at an investor, it's really unbelievable the opportunity we have for make sure that it's a good project. I hear that everybody's doing, you want to talk about IP put on there. I mean, it's a perfect use case. You want to look at, think about, what you're doing for aggregating that. There's a whole bunch of things that are just starting. And you just got to make sure you do your due diligence, you look at the team, and just watch where all the money goes for. The big thing is I love about blockchain is if the United States, if we knew where every dollar was, I would be happy with it. But it's not transparent. As soon as your light shows on it, you can see all the rats run, okay? So that's what I see.
I think part of the power of the dollar is you don't know where every dollar is. That's what
Yeah.
makes it useful.
Yeah.
Are you sure that you want full transparency?
I want full transparency.
Okay, well, that's revolutionary.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
my money, just theirs.
I'm good. I'm good.
Like Justice Brandeis said that the sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
maybe
You got it,
there's
yeah.
something to be said for that. Okay, Galaxis. I think I actually worked with you guys and you did a presentation at the Capital Club in Dubai a while back with Robert Halls, yes?
Yes.
Same Galaxis. Okay, pleasure.
Same galaxy. Same.
That's
as
not
well. So-
investment advice. All right, go on.
No, definitely. So about DeFi, I'm a bit skeptical. I was in central banking, as I said, for 13 years. That's a big players game, so that's highly political. So to allow that, not sure about that in 10 years, but we will see. I'm just saying.
But okay, remember the audience. So you're distinguishing decentralized finance from traditional crypto or bringing assets onto the blockchain or blockchain-based companies.
I'm
Explain
saying,
it a little bit
okay,
more.
so from investment perspective, real adoption, Web3 adoption, what matters? I tell you some examples. Decentralized science is a very interesting topic. We see that. That's a place where you don't, I think we are still early. We don't touch upon sensitive things like a $1 trillion financial market, but the collaboration, decentralized funding, monetizing, tokenizing IP, that's a very interesting thing, and we are still early and just scraping the surface on it. Anything that I believe, and what we're working on, I believe everything that is a certificate that makes more sense to be on chain. Not just a digital twin or something, but really on blockchain based. And there are billions of certificates. We did the work with the European Union on putting on chain diplomas. Makes sense because of security, transparency, verification, for a lot of reasons. So
I'm sorry, because the lawyer in me wants to tease out.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a certificate, you're talking about a third-party validation of some instrument, or
Yes.
what do you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so explain that a little bit more.
It's verification, basically. Like the diploma case, it's about verification that the hash is obviously stored on blockchain, so it can be easily verified that that diploma is real and not something falsification. Going into the part, there are many use cases where blockchain as an industry and blockchain as a technology has a huge potential, especially where data is sensitive, data are sensitive. There is collaboration makes sense, so probably, tokenization get really like a fashion, but like they want to tokenize everything. I think we're still too early on it, but in cases like where collaboration makes sense, where there is where security is important, where your data is important, like for instance in healthcare, there I see that blockchain industry can go further. There were a lot of development, like last time met, there were a lot of developments in Web3 that makes it more like Web 2, and yet the back end you have the blockchain and the security and the immutability of blockchain. These are real use cases where in the next 2-3 years can make a huge impact.
So you see that blossoming in the short term,
Yeah.
short to medium term. Interesting. Anthony, please, or Anthony.
Yeah, thanks very. Hello, thanks very much. I think, I mean, if we're looking into the future in the next 10 years from an investment perspective, call it a thesis. I mean, the one thing which you touched on is self-sovereign identity, digitizing identities. I mean, we know that governments and corporates are not good at looking after our identities. They,
I don't agree. They're very good looking after it. They're just not for our benefit.
Yeah, not for our benefit, for their own benefits. And there are lots of hacks that happen. They often ask for too much data that's more than is needed. We constantly have to try and manage who wants what data, how often, etc. So what I see is, and I know there have been quite a few attempts at it, but I think maybe they were too early, is that over time, a system which allows self-sovereign management of your own identities. So owning your identification, allowing access to it, revoking when necessary, deciding how much data is provided to different parties. I think it's a very good use case for blockchain. I think it's one of the. I'm surprised it hasn't matured further. But obviously you've got banks, you've got big corporates involved, you've got governments, etc. So there needs to be buy-in, and it's probably going to happen. Probably in the corporate side, in the banking sector first, where they need to collaborate, get together and realize, well, this is a better way of doing it than every bank managing its own set of data on every person. We all know there's far too much personal data sitting out and around the world in databases which are not well secured.
Let's tease that a little bit. So again, Family Office Investment Summit. I agree, sovereign identity is important, and it's nerve-wracking how much information these non-accountable corporations have, or they're accountable to people other than us. In terms of monetization, in terms of investment thesis, in terms of where do they put their hard-earned Bitcoin or dollars or yen or renminbi, whatever, how does that play out as a thesis?
So BlockDAG is not offering that. So unfortunately, I'm not offering BlockDAG as a solution. I don't have a particular group to look at. I mean, I think it's worth keeping your eyes open in terms of that and seeing what comes along, because I think the right collection of people doing it properly with the right backing, I think that can be a very big use case to invest into.
Interesting. Sunny.
Sure. So in terms of investments, I think the DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure, is definitely one of the things that you can kind of keep an eye on, which is, I think, growth maybe 2.5x already from the year to year. And so as RWA now, I think year to date is about 2.6x happen. Like it's growing massively. So real world asset tokenization, for example, and one of the tokenization's benefit is not necessarily only for the hypes, but when you think of it, it's usually you can use it as a collateral. You can actually don't need to do due diligence over and over again. So it saves time. Also, if you think of using stable coins, for example, instead of checks. So one thing I kind of surprised was like in Dubai, you still pay with the checks with the rent. And imagine that to fast forward with stable coins. You can get the instant payments. And think of you as let's say holding like 100 units. Then you can get the instant payment right away instead of thinking about check balances and who knows, like 2 weeks easy, right? So instead of that, and you get the stable coins and using that stable coins and park in those two yield generating strategies. If you're risk adverse, so then you can park in the traditional, more of treasury yield generating strategies. For example, like on the finance, for example, some of the institutional grade ones that are out there already as a product and SEC approved and whatnot. So then you can just park your money there. Then you can continue generating yield, right? So then just think about those capital efficiency. You can get it with the stable coins just alone. But imagine the whole blockchain, for example, infrastructure that you can get it is basically you can understand, transparency is fully there. So you can verify everything is there. So then you don't have to do the due diligence over and over again and time consuming. So for example, one of the applications, our application we are building is you can do the KYC with your phone. We verify you and then using ZKP, which is zero knowledge proof. So what that means is basically basically we want to verify you are over 18 years old. Then we verify with the ID providers, and then you just over 18 years old. Not we don't know your age, but we can verify that you're over 18 years old. So that's kind of the logic that we implement a lot of along the way our application. And once you do that, then you can go to listing layers. You can build the properties, for example. And when you upload your property, we also verify ownership, whether you're the owner of the properties, and then you can go and you can rent it out the property. But once you rent it out your property, we also help you to build up smart portfolio using DeFi and DePIN. I know DeFi is still somewhat early, so some of the things that we are implementing is a Centrifuge or On the Finance, Maple, some of the institutional grade ones that are already proven, and then we build a portfolio based on the risk, basically appetite that you have. If you don't want to, you want to take more risk, then we can build more yield. Sure, no problem. We can do so. But if you want to kind of diversify, no problem. So compared to previously, if you let's say you have $100 million, you want to deploy, you can build a diversified portfolio with globally, right? Think about all the tokenization. So then you can have a 10% this building in Kant, and you have a 10% in Italy, Positano, whatnot. So you can have a 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and that add up to 100%, right? And then you can use those yield and then park in those yield, and then you can just use a credit card, for example, and then you can park those money there, so you don't have to take it out, which means that money always works for you, right? So time value of money, that is a principle 101, right? And when it comes to money, so that you can do that. So that's actually what can tokenization.
Sunny, let me stop you a second.
Sorry.
You're one of the rare human beings who talks as fast as I do.
Oh.
Okay, and so I wanted you to drop. This is before you were born, but I wanted you to take the RPMs and go to 50%. And I want you to talk to me like I'm 5 years old. What is DePIN? Talk to me like I'm 5 years old.
Decentralized physical infrastructure. Is it slow enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that good? Okay. You stay like that. What is
yes.
DePIN?
So that's such as a Wi-Fi, such as a solar panel, such as energy sources, so such as EV chargers, for example. So this infrastructure can be everywhere. It's not centralized, so that's why then you can still earn tokens, and those tokens can be converted to the, let's say, stable coins. So that means you can convert it to money. So what we are trying to do is on top of your rent payment, and then we can aggregate those DePIN coins, meaning the DePIN mining basically reward, and then convert that to stable coins. You're adding another cash flow layer. And then when you park those together to DeFi, which is decentralized finance, then if they can generate yield, then you can generate yield. Is that slow enough? Good?
It was slow enough. I think we're going to do a recap. All right.
Okay.
IP, blockchain.
Yes. So to answer your original question, I think if I'm a family office and I'm looking to make an investment, first of all, I want an asset that's not dependent on economic conditions, doesn't fluctuate based on, we live in turbulent times now, tariffs, oil, whatever is going on, who even knows anymore. I want an asset that does not fluctuate with economies. Patents go. You license them, you don't license them, no one cares. Google cares. If Apple's copying Google, they're going to sue them. So I like assets that operate independent of the economy. They're not, and you're a lawyer, so you understand this. A lawsuit's a lawsuit. And so I like those type of assets. These are high risk, high reward investments. So I think that patents kind of have a special marriage with cryptocurrencies, because they're both high risk, high reward investments. You win or you lose. And that's how I kind of look at it. So, and 97% of all patent litigation gets settled prior to trial. Doesn't even go to trial. So why make it publicly available, even if it's in a private blockchain, I don't really care, so people can see, hey, what did that settle for? And what am I going to pay you, and why should I pay you that amount? And I'm trying to eliminate...
Why make it public, or it should be public?
It's up to the company. If I sue you for patent litigation, I just take discovery and I can see all your settlement agreements. I'm going to get all of them. I want to, no offense to you, I want to eliminate the lawyers, because the lawyers are expensive.
Okay, not only is that no offense, but the reason I went to law school is so that I wouldn't have to hire lawyers. And the reason I went into blockchain was so that I could help reform law and make lawyers less needed.
Then you are aligned with me. Thank you for saying that.
So no offense to you, buddy boy.
So what I'm saying is that's the business problem I'm trying to solve, okay? I'm trying to solve a real problem. I don't want to create something that creates additional work or create something that nobody needs. I'm trying to create something that solves a real business problem. And most entrepreneurs or inventors, they don't have the money to sue these big companies. They don't have it. So you got to give them a way to facilitate that.
Okay. Now, I don't quite understand your model. What exactly are you putting on the blockchain? What's it mean to put a patent on the blockchain?
So it's a utility token.
Okay.
And there's another company doing this, Story IP. You may have heard of them. They raised $142 million, Stanford grad. They're putting mainly copyrights and trademarks online. You can see, let's say you want to buy a license from Justin Bieber's song or Disney. You can go and see what that was. And you
I was just looking into that yesterday. Okay.
So you can click a button, there's a smart contract, and boom, you've got your license. You're done. No attorneys in the room.
So you're bringing the right to license the patent online.
Right.
Okay, and then how do you deal with the vagaries of different licensing rights? Sometimes they're global, sometimes they're this, sometimes they're that.
They're territorial. They go by country. I'm only focused on the United States. I'm not focusing on foreign countries. It's too complex. But the U.S. has treaties with many countries that kind of cover this, anyways. But I'm only focused on United States patents. No, I'm not focusing on any other countries.
Okay, and does sometimes the nature, it's an interesting model, but sometimes taking the blockchain and utility out of it, sometimes what I'm going to charge for a patent depends on the person licensing it. So it's not, you have the exact same grant of rights, but it may vary based on the customer.
It's damages based on revenue. So if, let's say, a company's doing 20 million in revenue and they're infringing, maybe only half the revenue's infringing, it's 2 or 3% of that number is typically what people take. I mean, you do need lawyers to still do some of this work, don't get me wrong, and I have great lawyers, I love them. But I'm trying to make it a little more simplified for simple patents is what I'm trying to do.
Interesting. All right, now I'm going to do a complete curveball. Michael Turpin is in the audience, enjoying his phone. Okay, so if you were to say or ask anything to or from Michael Turpin, what would it be? Let's turn on the microphone.
Well, I don't know. I think I would just walk over there and ask him. I think I've asked Michael everything I wanted to ask him.
Testing.
Yeah, that one's not that loud. Michael, how are
Listen, we're going to
things-
speak. The original panel was supposed to be 40 minutes, and the clock here said 15, which is not realistic for this group. But we're going to speed run 10 minutes. You got 2 minutes each.
Okay.
No, you got 1.5 minutes each. You can tell him something, or you can ask him something.
How are things coming together for Puerto Rican Blockchain Week?
Glad you asked. It's coming together very well. It's the second week of December in San Juan, and it'll be 85 degrees. Tokenizedconference.com.
Okay,
And
I didn't ask him to say that.
Okay, so I'm into DAO, Bitcoin-backed DAO, where we created a hybrid model structure. Issuance and regulation is centralized, but distribution is decentralized. However, the underlying Bitcoin is generating returns. Do you think these kind of models should be regulated worldwide as part of the crypto regulation?
Well, you asked me about this about an hour and a half ago, and I've not had a chance to check it out. There's no reason why it couldn't work online. The question is whether regulators are going to. It's really the public company laws, not the laws of cryptography that would be enforced there.
Adam, tell him something or ask him something.
Oh, well, everybody knows Michael and Joyce are just the luminaries in this industry, and I really have nothing to say or ask. I'll pass it on because I can't add anything to here.
Okay.
What use cases do you believe in blockchain?
I'm sorry?
Top three. The top three.
Louder and clear. Louder and clearer.
Sorry. What are the top 3 use cases for blockchain in the next 2 years?
Well, I think that Bitcoin, number one, it did. People don't realize many times that the word blockchain comes from Satoshi. So he's the first one to basically put together.
Not coming from. That's not
No, he's the one who's first to go.
91 Bell Labs already developed
No,
the blockchain.
but not the way that Satoshi did it. He's the first one to really popularize it.
It's in the reference.
You're
on the
10 seconds more to argue.
Okay. I was going to say he's the first one to really put together a blockchain in a way that was usable. Cryptocurrency, yes, the word goes back to early 1980s with my friend David Chum. But I think that Bitcoin is the number one use of the blockchain in the next 3 years.
Okay, he used all the time. Anthony,
Okay.
Two questions. The first one is, do you expect...
one question. Don't kill me. Okay, two
one
questions.
One
two
question
questions.
Tuesday. Are you expecting another altcoin rally? And then also, what did you do with the tigers?
Okay, that was good.
Altcoins typically come after the peak. I am going to be interviewed by Anthony tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. on my book, The Bitcoin Super Cycle, which talks about the 4-year cycles. And typically, the altcoin rally, there's usually several during them. They've been crushed right now by Bitcoin, by the way. We're at an all-time kind of cycle high right now, 66% of Bitcoin dominance. And it's really killed off the rallies in AI, which have been going very well. It was up substantially a few months ago. But no, usually what happens is Bitcoin peaks, and historically it peaks the fourth quarter after the year of the halving. I think that's going to happen again. And then altcoins peak usually about a month or two after that. And so what happens oftentimes is the whales will go sell their Bitcoin and then go and pump Ethereum and then pump alts, and then they're all home for a while. We'll see how having institutions involved now in a major way changes that. I don't think they're going to be any less degen if they think they can make money on it.
Nice. Sunny, tell him something or ask him something.
Sure. What are you most excited about in this space in Web3 blockchain?
Well, of course, I said Bitcoin because I think that's the biggest opportunity right now for most people, and overlooked and very safe compared to everything else. But no, I would say probably decentralized AI. That's a hugely underrated, even though it's poo-pooed by a lot of the centralized AI folks. But some of my top investments right now are in decentralized AI. A company called AI Quant Labs is killing it. Former head of strategy of NASDAQ is doing Alpha AI as a Bloomberg terminal on AI. Platforms like Morpheus and BitTensor. So I think that's sort of the big winner this cycle for alts.
Okay, so full disclosure, Michael's my advisor. I've known him for over 30 years. What's the U.S. regulatory framework in 90 days?
Better. I mean, so far, everything that Trump has been wanting to get through has gotten through. Even things that required...
like B-2 bombers? Not
well, I was going to say, no, I mean...
Too early? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, they've already said that meme coins are digital collectibles just in time for, to sort of cover the Trump coin. But, I think that nobody expected that the Stablecoin Act would sail through with 60-plus votes. So, Elizabeth Warren saying in the last administration, I'm heading up an anti-crypto army. There is no anti-crypto army. There's people who vote single vote for crypto having better regulation because there's 50 million people who hold it in the United States. I don't know of anybody who's basically said, my number one issue is I got to kill crypto.
Fantastic. Okay, big round of applause for our
Thank you.
panel. Can we do a group photo?